Hi, it's Friday, March 27th, and I've got your Arkansas News headlines for the day. The legislature is wrapping up the session this week and into early next week, so just about everything we're going to talk about has to do with what's happening at the Capitol. And events there can unfortunately be divided roughly into two categories, things that are bad but goofy enough to be funny and things that are just plain bad. Let's start with the goofy ones. Yesterday in the House, Representative Dan Douglas, a Republican from Bentonville, introduced a bill that would essentially start a trade war with the state of California over the importation of wine. About 90% of the wine sold in Arkansas comes from California. Representative Douglas's bill would allow the head of the Arkansas Agricultural Department to stop wine being brought here from California in retaliation for the state of California imposing new regulations about egg production. You see, Californians passed a popular ballot measure a couple years back that requires any egg sold in the state to come from laying hens who are housed in cages that allow them enough room to stretch out their wings and turn around. Arkansas egg producers don't like that. That means that a lot of the eggs produced here, because they don't meet those animal welfare standards, can't be sold in California. That offends some folks in the legislature, so now they want to retaliate. Dan Douglas said yesterday, any state that imposes agricultural standards on us, we do not want their wine. In other news, this morning a House committee passed a bill by Senator Jason Rapert, that would allow for the installation of a monument to the Ten Commandments on the grounds of the Arkansas State Capitol. Representative John Walker, a Democrat on the committee, asked Kim Hammer, who is the House sponsor, Representative Hammer, does the bill not have a tendency to prefer Christianity over other forms of religion that do not recognize the Ten Commandments and therefore would be in violation of the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution? Kim Hammer responded that the monument would simply be of historic value and was not being presented on the basis of supporting one religion over another. Meanwhile, Representative Clark Tucker forwarded a good bill in the House that was killed today. His bill would have opened consultants and other nonprofits involved in the takeover of a school district or some sort of valuation or operation thereof to be subject to the Freedom of Information Act. The rationale there is if a public entity hires a private entity to do some sort of work, then the public has a right to know what that private entity is doing, even if it's a nonprofit. And this, of course, has special resonance in Little Rock, where the school district has recently been taken over by the State Board of Education. Now, the Little Rock School District has not been handed off to any sort of private nonprofit thus far, but some are worried that that is what's happening down the line. And so Representative Tucker's bill would have just ensured that if that is the case, then the public is able to look at the documents that are generated by any sort of private entity that would be responsible for running the district. But unfortunately, it was killed 38-32 in the House. Another bill that did pass, however, was SB 569, Senator Gary Stubblefield's bill to strip all state dollars from Planned Parenthood. No state money goes towards the provision of abortion. So the state does not pay Planned Parenthood to provide abortions, never has, presumably never will. The state, however, has provided a small grant to Planned Parenthood in the past for sexually transmitted disease prevention measures. But now all grants under this new bill will be forbidden to any provider that also offers abortion or even refers women to possibly get an abortion somewhere. A similar bill failed 2 years ago in 2013, but the legislature has grown much more conservative in the past 2 years. Finally, there's HB 1228 by Representative Bob Ballinger, a bill which is getting a lot of attention. It passed the Senate today and heads back to the House to concur in amendments, after which it will be headed to the governor's desk. This is the bill, of course, that would allow individuals to discriminate against people based on their individual's religious conscience. It's widely interpreted, and the sponsors admit that it's for the purpose of discriminating against LGBT people. It passed the state Senate by a vote of 24-7, and it's getting, as I said, a lot of attention nationally. An online petition by the Arkansas Public Policy Panel is urging people to sign it, to urge Governor Hutchinson to veto the bill, although that's unlikely considering he said in the past that he would sign it in its amended form. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, has also taken to Twitter to speak out against it, as has the CEO of Yelp, the popular tech firm. So keep an eye on HB 1228. It's going to continue to attract a lot of attention over the weekend, and we'll see what Governor Hutchinson does. Thanks, and we'll see you back next week after the legislature is finished meeting.